New Year. It's been a wonderful year, and I know it's been a while. You'll be seeing more of my faces on Peculiar Stars Lifestyle Channel, hopefully this year. And I just came on here to actually give a bit of tip for the year. Yeah. So many things have been. I know so many things might have happened to some of you, and you've been thinking on how to navigate this year. And yeah, last year we actually opened with the thought of meditation. We're talking about meditation and so many other stuff. But this year also, it's always good to continue to meditate. I think it's something good. For me, it's more like a therapy. And I just wanted to say Happy New Year and also drop some tips. Hopefully would help you have a successful new year. So one is commune with God. Yes, it is actually very important to commune with God, and meditate on His Word. If you're a Christian, study the Word. If you're Muslim, study your Quran, and yeah, most importantly, listen to your inner spirit and what the Holy Spirit, your inner spirit, whatever you call it, it's actually telling you, and make sure you are walking in the line of faith and also uprightness and morality. Obviously, to be a upstanding citizen within the country you live in, you need to actually do what is right, and I think it is essential. So, commune with God and listen to your inner mind. Study the word is the second one. Yes, study the word. Most of us would probably get revelations from different places. You can get revelation from the word of God. Maybe while you're studying the word, while you're meditating, you can actually get revelation. So, yes, I kind of believe that revelation, inspiration can come from the supernatural realm. And that's actually good because it helps us to chart our course in life as well, as it may seem. The third one is honestly to expatiate on the study the word theme. I think that as you study the word, you can also study read books, Christian literatures, theoretical books, or maybe your course, like some of self-development. I think I will talk about that on another theme later on. The third one will probably be mind your business. I think mind your business has been underrated, and sometimes some of us take a lot of stuff on board, and it's I have actually found myself in the situation, like taking on other people's problems and everything is actually good to help solve problem, because sometimes some of us also find it fulfilling, when we reach out a hand, and that's good. But most sometimes you also need to focus, sometimes you have a problem. Everybody has a form of challenge, one challenge or the other, and by the time you're taking on too much of other people's challenges and problems, um you might actually be how will I put it now? You might actually be bringing on too much upon yourself, and that might be something you have to look into, maybe evaluate it if you have to. And for some of us, it might be that we want to do more for people this year, and that's actually a beautiful thing. It's actually good to actually do more if you think that you need to do more. So yes, take it on board. But I think that sometimes minding your business has been underrated. Yeah, especially for people who come from Africa, sometimes we tend to like, do that. I would like to actually reduce that this year, hopefully. And yeah. Number four is state your goals early. Yes, we're still in the first few weeks of January of the new year. And honestly, if you haven't actually put pen on paper, I think it's essential you do that. State your goals early, identify your objectives for the year, and work towards it. Yes, work towards it. It's not enough to just put something on paper. It's actually more important to actually see yourself taking that step at a time. It doesn't have to be giant strides, in as much as we all want to take giant strides, it doesn't have to be giant strides. It can be just one step at a time. So if you want to do something, for example, let's say you want to learn how to bake, You know, if you put if you put your pen on paper and say I want to learn how to bake, it is necessary that you actually go and do a bit of research. Like, you might not bake in January, but yes, try to like do a research on recipes, the kind of cakes you want to bake. What kind of cake do I want to bake? Basic cake, maybe vanilla. What kind of flour would I like? you know there's self-raising flour, there's plain flour. What are the benefits of using self-raising or plain flour? So maybe what you'll do in the whole of January is just doing the research on ingredients and recipes. And maybe by the time you get to February, you might even be busy and not even look at your recipes. And that's okay, because you're busy doing something else that might seem important for the month of February. And by the time you get to March, maybe that will be you trying out one of your recipe. And that's also okay. And then you try out on a Saturday, you just try out one of your recipes on vanilla cake, for example. And you might not even have a mixer, and that's okay. And you just have to see yourself using the spatula, turning the mixins and everything. And that's okay. And maybe after baking for like 2 hours, you realize that your cake didn't turn out well. But that's okay. But one thing that you would note down is, what did you do wrong? What did you do right? And one of the things that you might do wrong is maybe you didn't give it the appropriate weighting as regard the measurements. So you might have just mixed it. Sometimes people that put recipes on the internet put 2 cups of this, 3 cups of that, da 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 da, and they might not even tell you how many times or how you're supposed to mix it if you don't have a mixer and all that. So that will be some of the things that you actually put down and take note of. And that's okay. Funny enough, you might actually do that first trial and your cake might just turn out beautifully well, delicious as well. And maybe you're missing an egg, maybe, so many things. You might not have all the ingredients, but you tried it out and you noted it down. Your lessons, how did it taste? What did you think is missing? And you just write it down. You might not even try it again in the month of February. Maybe the next time that you will try it is in the month of March, and you try it again. This time around, you have all your ingredients. Maybe, just maybe. And this time around, maybe you've been opportune to get a hand mixer, and that's also good, because now it becomes easier. And then you try again. You might try your first recipe again, and then try with all the ingredients, try to do the right measures and try it out. Now you're more patient. It might even take you less time, because now you know what to do. You have your cups, you have your measurements, and you have a mixer. Beautiful. Hand mixer, so it seems, because it might be costly to get, it might be costly to get the mixer that stands on its own. So you try this out, and this time around, it might just turn out beautifully well, and everybody enjoys the cake. And maybe the second time you try the cupcake and realize that you got it burnt, because obviously the timing will be different, and the cupcakes are smaller, and then that's also good, beautiful. And then you try again in the month of April, and this time you might be trying a second recipe, or you might be doing the first one all over again. But what you would have learned after the first 3 months, which is probably the first quarter, is that you tried to bake and you realize that something works and something doesn't work, but you have made an attempt. And that is good progress. I feel like that's the way it should be. So, yes, state your goals early, identify your objectives for the year, and work towards it, you know, like the example I just gave. Now, number 5, be optimistic. This is, to me, honestly, I think that people also underestimate the power of being optimistic, like it helps you with your mental health. Why I'm being a big fan of determination, being determined, um and focus. Yes, I'm going to get this. I want to do this, and this is exactly what I'm going to do. But I'm also a big fan of flexibility and optimism, and people underrate this, and I think it's very, very important, especially in this life where there's so many uncertainties. Anything can happen. Your plans, you might have the right ingredient, you might have so many things, right, but then something can happen. Uncertainty, you might have to go out, something might switch off your oven, while you are not there. Someone might do this, the light might trip off. So many things can happen. Be optimistic. Even when you do everything right and it looks like you didn't get the results that you want, be optimistic. Honestly, just chill and do it again, and everything. it will actually help your mental health very, very well. No matter how, even if it's the fact that you're looking for a job and it looks like, oh my God, I might not get this job, or you've done everything and you feel like you're the perfect fit. Honestly, anything can go wrong. So yes, be optimistic and don't be weighed down by the failures. Don't be weighed down by the failures or the little things that seem to, like, that might seem to encroach into what you're doing or what you're trying to do. Yes. Yes, what are your thoughts on starting a new year? Let me know in the comment section and share your thoughts on what you plan to do this year. And yeah, and that's me wishing you a happy new year and yeah, a prosperous one at that, a favorable one. And I hope that you achieve all your dreams this year.